me when I was younger, um, and it goes all the way back to middle school because I wasn't really the best looking, and because I wasn't the best looking, there was a lot of confusion for me when a lot of people would talk about me, but at the same time, I wasn't ugly per se. So I did have a specific physique growing up, and it was more of a lady build than it was, a build of a child. And so there were times where I would get sexually harassed by boys. Um, Nothing to the avail of, anything as far as physical touch or anything, but just, them saying certain things, but then they would turn around and talk about my looks or whatever the case may be, how I dressed. And so it would be confusing for me just simply because, um, you know, just them making it seem like they have an attraction, but at the same time also making it seem like I was not the typical girl that they would go after. And as I grew up, of course, more and more in my years, each year I ended up looking better. I like to say that I had a glow up every year until I got to this point. And I don't really have many friends now just because of course, the experience I had, but just growing up knowing that now because of the anointing, not that I'm trying to boast or anything, but as I begin to understand my calling and the anointing God has given me, I understand that they were more attracted to something they didn't understand. And so they didn't really understand why I would be picked on, why I would be the quiet one in the back, but something was said about me, things like that. Or girls talking about me, but in reality, they were jealous. So,
Right. And and what grade were you in when you was like, develop? I would say
it
develop.
honestly started in like fifth, sixth grade.
Wow.
It
Okay.
did, because that's middle school and it's
Hmm.
growing into your high school years, and so
Hmm.
I was actually developing at that age, and
Wow.
it wasn't something that I could help. Just knowing, there's certain pants that I couldn't fit, or
Right.
just different things like that, and trying to make sure I wasn't bringing any attraction as well. So I used to get stressed out because I'm like, well, I can't help it. I didn't do anything,
Right.
um but just learning now
Hmm.
that it really was traumatic for me, and it took
Hmm.
me being 20 where it actually showed up as an insecurity in a certain situation, and then I realized that childhood trauma can build up over time.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I even researched it, but for some reason it doesn't show up as far as the results of the trauma it brought into your life until your adulthood.
Right. And then you're able to understand it also.
Exactly.
All right. So the next person is the middle child.
Hello, my name is
Hello.
Kayla. So, to me, the definition of peer pressure is basically the challenge of deciding whether you want to do the right thing or make up in your mind what you want to do or what you want to be, how you want to be, right? So, usually, when I'm still in high school, I'm a senior in high school about to graduate.
Okay.
But
Yay.
yes,
Whoop,
like
whoop.
in my younger years, I guess you would say, freshman year, like that's when you're really seeing who you want to hang around and what you want to do, right?
Right.
So a lot of people, they will always be like, Michaela, why don't you date? Why don't you do this? And I'm
Right.
just like, they will basically pressure me into like getting in a relationship because I remember there was this one time this boy he asked me, he was like, are you gay? Like, do you like girls because of this? And I'm like, don't pressure me. It's just because the calling on my life, I'm finding out who I am through Christ, you know?
Right.
So I wanted to see who I was before I let someone in my life. And, a lot of girls, they would look at me differently because I wouldn't do certain things that they did. And
Right.
they would always ask me, like, why you don't go to parties? You should come to parties. Like, don't be lame. And it's just like, I was raised different. And, you grow up with this mindset when you grow up in like a God fearing home. You grow up with the mindset like, God has a path for me. So I'm going to choose to take that route? So
Right.
that's
Good.
my.
All right. Next.
Okay, I'm Kaylan, and I'm the baby girl, of course. So, I feel like peer pressure is, well, okay, so I feel like it's like a like weighing a weight of something, like a challenge of something, because people, like, when you're pretty, or like when you're pretty, people try to fit you to a certain standard
Mm-hmm.
for them. And so it's like, cuz like one time I wanted to go somewhere, and then this was supposed to be my friend or whatever, and she was saying how she was saying how she didn't want me to go to the basketball game because I was going to steal
The
her
boys.
fans. Yeah, what she would say her fans.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I'm trying to go to the basketball game and you twisting it around because you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like sometimes that could be pressuring because people fit you to a certain standard when you're pretty, especially because like at my school, since I'm pretty, everybody think I'm rich.
Mm.
I am rich, but
Okay.
people just
Yeah.
think that I'm rich automatically. And I just feel like you automatically get judged before people actually meet you. Like even in bad ways and good ways, like they instantly judge, oh, she's stuck up, or oh,
Right.
she's mean, or she's conceited, she has a lot of pride. And I just feel like you should meet a pretty person before you judge them,
Right.
because yeah, because that comes a long way of pressure. So
It is true. Okay. So, what is the difference between good peer pressure and bad peer pressure?
ooh, that's a good question.
Whoever want to start.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
um, so with bad peer pressure, even as they were talking, it reminded me how I tried to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I personally never felt comfortable growing up. I feel like every person in this generation went through this, where like at a point in time you felt uncomfortable with a jacket. Like
Mm-hmm.
if your arms were showing, you felt uncomfortable. But nowadays it's like less clothes is the
Oh
thing. I
yes.
try to wear crop tops. I try to wear, tight dresses and things like that. And I just never felt comfortable. But because of those looks, I always try to fit in. And, people always calling me, oh, lame and this and that because I didn't smoke, I didn't drink. They would try to get me to. Um, and you really see who is your friend and who's not.
Right.
And just knowing that with bad pressure, peer pressure, it brings you to a loneliness when you
Mm-hmm.
really stand for what you stand for, and just seeing that not everybody's going to be for you. And then with good pressure, I was actually able to influence some people, to consider, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this, because we see constant examples from generations before of people who did this and that, and the lifestyle it came about to be. Not saying that they can't change, but we see where these exact things led them. So maybe
Right.
let's not. So just giving that good influence and pushing them into better purpose for their life.
And that's true. And you young ladies, like you say, you're grown and they're still in school. I know that the peer pressure in school, and I know when I was in school, it was more sex.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was having sex. I was a virgin, and I was
Mm-hmm.
running for noise. Now I would talk a lot of noise on the phone at night, but the next day I'm running. I'm running, hitting curves, hitting corners, because he want me to go home with him, and I done talked all this noise last night on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. So hey, I done been there and done that, so I understand. I talked a lot, and one gonna do nothing. One gonna bust a grape. But you know what? Like now people think that it's strange even to be a virgin. It's a blessing to be a virgin because, like I say, I was a virgin in high school, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody want to be used all up.
Right.
But like I say, the peer pressure, especially being pretty, girls are jealous of you. But then, like I said at the beginning, it don't stop where you guys are right now. I am 64, and it's still I get problems from women, and I ask people a lot, "What is going on?" I mean, when I was your age, I'll say your age, I didn't even think I was pretty. I had low self-esteem about myself. I did not like myself only because of the seeds of words that were sown into my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when people are speaking seeds in you know, it's kind of like I always think about the monsters, the movie, you know, the show. What's that, Merlin? The one that's real pretty in there.
Mm.
Oh.
The monsters made her feel like she was ugly, but actually they were ugly. So it's amazing how people can make you feel a certain way. And you know what? But you have to know who you are.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, you have to know your purpose and the purpose that God has for your life. And a lot of times it's jealousy, you know, and no one has to be jealous of anybody because God said we're all fearfully and wonderfully made. Each and every one of us, he made us just unique. I mean, every curve, like you say, you was full figured in elementary or junior high. I was the same way, you know, and I cannot help because that's the way God made me. But like I say, then the girls would pick on me, they would talk about me, they would lie on me, and the boys would like me, and they did not like that. So, okay, so I want the baby girl. Tell me what is good peer pressure and bad peer pressure.
Ooh, okay. Okay. So I feel like the bad peer pressure is when when girls or in general people, when they fit you to that standard, like you know how you walk, like you're walking, and then a boy finds you pretty, but then the girl likes that boy, so now she's mad at you, and now she wants to fight you because that boy wants, like, because he's after you. And I
Right.
feel like that's pressure because you, like, us girls, we just want to talk and have friends like a normal person would, but like at the same time you got that other person that's jealous of you because you're talking to that person and that person wants you just because the girl wants him. You know what I mean?
And that is true.
And I feel like good pressure, yeah, like Kayla just said, it can, you can inspire people when it
Hmm.
comes to good peer pressure because so at my school, I'm using my school a lot. At my school, I dress a certain way,
Okay.
and because so like I'm in the country. So since everybody dresses different, since I came from the city, I dress like I came from the city.
Hmm.
So it so like since I so when I came there, I started inspiring girls to like come out of their shell to dress pretty too. Because at first they didn't want to because they was like, well, everybody else is doing this and everybody else is doing that. Well, I feel like when you can inspire someone to do better, it's good.
And that is good. And that's called influence. And that's what peer pressure is, influence. You can influence in a negative way and a positive way, right?
Right.
Right. So, cause like I say, they can look at you now. So that's a positive influence that you have, you know, and like I say, and even the way you dress, they'll look at you, say, you know what, I want to go shopping and I want to buy me something pretty. And like I say, instead of being jealous, because that's what happens. They get jealous instead of just going out and buy something. You know, if you like the way I smell, just go buy it. And ask me what I'm got, you know, what I have on. I might have some Walmart perfume. I don't know. But anyway, whatever I have on, just ask where I got it from. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be jealous because I smell good.
Right.
All right. Next person.
Okay, so really they covered it all, but yeah, bad peer pressure is
Yeah.
basically, them trying to convince you to do something that you don't really
Right.
want to do, or something that's cool to everybody, or it's a trend, and if you don't want to do it, then you're all of a sudden looked at as different, or they don't accept you anymore.
Right.
And that's really our society now, because if you don't dress a certain way, like Kaleja
Mhm.
said,
Mhm.
the crop tops and the shorts, itty bitty shorts, certain hairstyles, you're just not accepted, or they just look at you as different or weird in a certain way. And then good peer pressure, I wouldn't really call it good peer pressure. I would call it good peer persuasion, or
Sway.
because
Okay.
it's influence. I
Yes, it is.
remember in class today we had this warm up, and it was like, who inspired you, or who persuaded you to be how you are, or who persuaded you to do something, or if not, have you persuaded anyone? And I used my big sister as an example, and I said she persuaded me to get my relationship closer to God, because
Mhm.
she was going through tough times, and the way her lifestyle was, it showed how it could turn around with his help, because she
Right.
would go through so many things, but because she would turn her trust and her happiness towards him, she
Mhm.
became happy, and she walked this walk that someone else would want to walk, and that inspired me. So
Right.
that's what good peer pressure is. It's persuasion. It's convincing, or it's showing you the lifestyle of, what you could be doing, or what's beneficial to what your actions could look like.
Right. And that is good. And when y'all was talking, I was thinking about how each and every one of us, we're different, but we cope in different ways.
Hmm.
And I think Kalasia said something about being lonely. It's a lonely place because sometimes we want to fit in. Now, when I was coming up, I've never cared to fit in with anybody. And I think in trying to fit in, it's kind of dangerous if you want to fit in with a group of people that make you feel like you're not like them. You know what I'm saying? You're not like them, and that's why you do not fit in with them. But how do you feel when y'all, like you say, if a while y'all was at a new school, you're not new anymore. But I remember when y'all first moved to the country, y'all had to go to a new school from the city. So when your first time on the campus, how were you being treated with the girls?
Okay, I'm gonna speak for a little bit for me and my Kayla.
Okay.
They were treating us like we were celebrities, like no joke. So like, and people would be, that's where it comes in of the jealousy part, because people, like, they would, that's when they would instantly start judging us. Well, oh, she's this way, no, she's that way. Because like when we got there, everybody was just like, oh, you're so pretty and this and that. It was like, thank you. And then you know how girls, like, when they hear that for so much, like that's when they start getting that jealousy and that envy.
Mhm.
And yeah, so like when we got there, I was just like, this is crazy. Like I never had this happen before, because it was really different for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you
I
about to say
completely
something?
agree.
Okay.
But yeah, like when we first moved here,
Hmm.
I knew it was gonna be different, but I didn't know it was gonna be that different. Cause in the city, you have everybody, they're dressing, they're trying to look all flashy, and then here, everybody's, I wouldn't say humble, cause everybody ain't humble, but they dress comfortably. And when I dress, like, I don't really care, but then I do care, because I would spend hours all night
Literally
trying to find something that's actually decent, because
hours.
that's how I am. But then again, it's because when I was younger, or yeah, when I was younger, a lot of people, they would give me so many compliments that it wired my mindset into, okay, what's the next best thing I can get? Because then I found myself fishing for compliments.
Right.
And like you said, that's a dangerous place to be
It
in,
is.
because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get what you're expecting, if you don't get that compliment you're expecting, all of a sudden you're trying to change everything you can about yourself, or you're in this depression state because you don't know what's wrong with you, and you're trying to fix that thing. So yeah, like we came here, and I remember hearing a boy, he was like, oh my gosh, everyone who comes from the city is rich. And I'm just like, that's not the case. I mean, it's just we have a lot of different stories. But yeah, and then there was this girl, she I don't know. I had this one perfume before. And then she was like, oh my gosh, Michaela, what perfume is that? And I told her, and then she was like, oh, okay, is it in season? I was like, well, it's seasonal, so it's not in season. Then she's like, okay. And then the next day, she found it. And I'm like, how did you find it if it's not in season? Then she turned around and asked me what mascara I use. I'm like, okay, girl. Okay, girl, you want to know the next soap I use? No, I'm just like, but then she was just asking me everything I use, and I'm just like, okay, now everybody's looking up to me, and I'm just like, I don't need this again, because when I was in the city, that's where I had that mindset of, I need to try and find the best next outfit so that I can keep my reputation that I've painted myself to be, in
Right.
that sort of way. And when we moved to the country, that was really like a start over for me, because every time I was in the city going in school, they would tell me I'm bougie. And I never
Oh yeah.
liked that. I'd be like, I was
Right.
so in denial. They'd be like, you're so bougie. Da, 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 da. They wouldn't say it in a bad way, but they'd be like, oh my gosh, Michaela, you're bougie. And I'm just like, how? And nobody could explain to me. Like I would ask them, I'm like, how am I bougie? And
Right.
no one would tell me. But then when we moved to the country, it was like, okay, I'm gonna stay humble and I'm gonna try to just be who I am. And now I can
Mhm.
actually be myself, you know, here in the country.
Right. Okay. So, is the peer pressure for you ladies more on the girl side or the boy side?
I would
Mm.
say girls. Well, actually,
Probably even.
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's
Yes,
a good
because
question.
oh yeah. Yes, because in school,
um,
like that, my sisters know the whole football team, the whole football team, they all wanted me, and I've never dated before, thank the Lord. But I've never dated before, and they would think something was wrong with me because I wouldn't date them, and
Hmm.
it's just like nothing's wrong with me. I'm just not where y'all are right now. And
That's
then
right.
the girls, they would think something wrong with me because why isn't she wearing what we're wearing? Why doesn't she talk like we talk? Why doesn't she act this certain way? And it's just like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's all I gotta
honestly,
say.
it ain't nothing to it.
Okay.
Ain't nothing.
Yeah. Kladja, what about you when you were in school?
When I was in, I said even as well because there were a lot of boys that would flirt with me, um, and like my Kayla said, the girls would get jealous, um, and they would talk about me. Like I said, I wasn't the prettiest. It took me till now to actually, really start embracing who I am.
Right.
But even then, like girls would try to copy how I
Samia.
am, and that's what I was just gonna say. That's what I was just gonna say. It reminded me of trendsetters. Like, I don't want it to come off in a boastful way because I promise I'm not trying to be that way. But we are unintentional trendsetters. Like, even I dyed. This is wig, but underneath is fiery red hair. I dyed my
Right.
hair red, and it actually complemented my skin. Then all of a sudden, I see like a few more heads at work pop up with bright red hair, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, And it was ways that we, us as the sisters, we would like wear our jacket, we would tie the string up but leave it unzipped, and then you see people up there coming with that, or you see a certain hairstyle, and so yeah, it was even just simply because the boys, they would be like, oh, get with me, don't get with him, or it was a get my number, or trying to get us to get with them, or
Right.
girl, let me put you down with my friend, let me put you down with such and such, and then the girls saying, oh, you don't need to be with him just because they're jealous, or oh, you should stick with us, don't go with them. So it was always a even balance.
Right. And that is good you sisters have each other. Because I have sisters, and I always say my sisters are my best friends because sometimes I have a best friend in Dallas, but I'm saying my sisters are my best friend because sometimes we look for friends out there, and there is pressure because you don't want to fit in. I didn't want to fit in, but some girls do want to fit in. They want to be in the groups, and that's a lot of times there are good groups. Don't get me wrong, but there's you remember the movie called The Mean Girls? Oh God, yes. Do they still have Mean Girls in school? I don't know. I just watched the movie. Are girls really like that?
Yes,
Some
definitely.
are.
Yes,
I've
but
seen some.
no.
I've seen something like that.
I would
They
say yes, but
are.
no.
I would just
In high
say
school, yes,
it's
they are.
not as televised. Like, I honestly would say it's worse because if you're not their friend, they're going to talk about you. Then somebody's going to spread a rumor that makes them want to fight you
Mm,
for no reason.
And
So
that happened to
it's a
me,
lot. It's
sadly.
kind of like a rated R in real life.
Yeah.
right, right. When I
Yeah.
saw that movie, I thought that movie was terrible. But anyway, yeah. So if you're just joining us tonight, you're tuned in with the Women Talk Show. Tonight we are talking about pretty peer pressure. We're talking about pretty girls who it's like a curse, but it's not a curse. It feels like it sometimes because we are beautiful women. We know who we are, but then the other people they make us feel bad about being who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not a curse, but I'd say, sometimes beauty is like a curse sometimes, but it's not. Depending on if you don't know who you are, it is a curse. when you're feeling lonely, nobody want to be your friend. You do feel bad. And being lonely is a bad place to be. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody need to be lonely. So. But anyway, so okay, so tell me, just think of one thing since you guys been in school out there that you had to learn a lesson from as far as being pretty peer pressure. Like maybe it's an incident that happened. What did you learn from it? Whether it was with a girl or a boy.
Actually, I can't speak on that. So, one thing I've learned is that you don't have to change your beliefs because of someone else's
To
beliefs.
fit in, right?
Yes, you don't have to try to fit in
Mm-hmm.
because if they're just as strong as about their beliefs, you can be just as strong about yours. And
Right,
that's what I learned.
right.
Yeah.
But why do we do that? We grew up in like you say, you grew up in a home that they talked about God and showed you examples or whatever. And then you get out here and they say, well, it's okay to drink. It's okay to
Yes,
smoke.
they're heavy
It's
on that.
okay to have sex outside of marriage.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. See, I honestly I don't know why they do that. But I feel like they try to find some sort of validation through that. And
hmm
they don't really know why they're doing that because everybody me personally, and I could be wrong, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're trying to fill some type of void that's there.
hmm
And they don't really understand why they're doing it. And then
right,
it's seen as being cool or it's seen as having fun. So
right.
they're trying to get everybody else to do it around them.
hmm
But me personally, I'm a stick to what I believe in and what I believe is right. And I remember I was sitting in the car one day, and then my friend or the person, a girl I'm cool with, she asked me something, and she was like, "Do you want to go to this party with me on such and such weekend?" And I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea because all they're gonna be doing is drinking and smoking. And I remember
hmm
in class they were talking about the party, and then I had joked around as if I was gonna go because I didn't know that they were just gonna be drinking and smoking. And this boy, he was like, well, there's no point if you're going because there's no point in going because all you're gonna do is just drink and smoke there. And I was like, okay, yeah, no. And then but fast forward back to us being in the car. We were in the car together when we were having that conversation. And then
Right.
she was like, well, you're not going to go to hell if you just drink, or you're not going to go to hell just for going to a party. But if you surround yourself in those situations,
hmm
it's really like playing with fire.
Right.
You're around that stuff, and eventually it's going to get down in your spirit or in your conscience or whatever you want to say, in your spirit. And you're going to end up wanting to feed that temptation.
Right.
So I had to let her know that. I was like, I know that's your lifestyle and that's cool, even though it's not, but that's not where I am. And that's what I had to learn because I used to try to, be a people pleaser. And I used to be like, oh, well, okay, I'll go with you because I want to make you happy.
Right.
And it was just forget how I felt or forget my morals and values. But this year I really stood on what I believe in because I don't want to have to boil down my beliefs, or I don't want to have to at the end of the day just go to bed thinking about what I could have did or thinking about what I did because I didn't stand on what I believed in. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
So,
And I
yeah.
see a lot of comments. Someone was asking,
Yeah.
why do you care? I'm trying to read all of them, y'all.
Me too.
It's
So are
it's like, okay, hold up.
okay, so are we gonna address the comments?
Somebody named Troy. Y'all know Troy?
Yes.
He said, why do y'all care? It's not that we care about anything. We're just expressing ourselves about what we experience, the age I am and the age that they are. So the thing about it, it's not that we care. I don't care. Do y'all care? I'm just saying.
Not anymore.
Well,
I can't say,
let me. Oh, go ahead.
no, you got it.
Oh,
Okay, it said, why do you women care about what other females think? I don't.
And
I'm trying to keep a straight face here. Ooh,
I wanted to
I
say
don't.
this because like I said earlier, I don't know if you guys were able to tune in at the time, but it's a systematic thing. We grew up around a society that told us we had to care about what we look like. We had to do
Right.
this. We had to listen to this type of music. We had to.
Right.
So somebody has had an influence on everybody. That was the intentions of what society has built up, that they may
Yes.
influence everybody to do the same
Yes.
thing, knowing that it
Yes.
will promote depression and other things. And two scenarios that popped up in my head was when you have sheep, you have a scenario where there's going to be that one sheep that gets lost, but really they're going their own way, like they got their own thing going. Then you have
Right. Uh-oh. Okay, let's keep talking, y'all. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. And then you have another scenario where if a sheep goes a certain way and all the other sheep see, they're going to go that same direction. And so I feel like that's how it is with society. When everybody see that someone has this great influence, not knowing that they're depressed behind
Right.
closed doors, they all are going to go that way. We all have been influenced, whether it's the type of music we listen to,
Mhm.
whether it's smoking, somebody influenced you to do it, whether
Right.
it's drinking, whether it's the way you talk, the way you look at people, even how we dress. I mean, even talking about a woman in a bonnet is a very sensitive topic for a lot of Black women. But when you think about it, if that girl does not care what anybody says, she gonna go out there in that bonnet. But at the same time, if she wants to look good for herself, she's going to look good for herself.
That's right.
So I feel like we all might care, even if it's that 1%, but it doesn't mean that we have to care enough to change our lives or adjust for the interest of others.
Right. And that's the key right there. You don't change for other people.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
you are who you are. But the thing about it, a lot of girls don't know who they are. I didn't know who I was. You know, I had to over a period of life find out who I was. And then
Exactly.
when I got in Christ, I really know who I am now. So
Exactly.
that's why I say it's kind of too late for people not to like me. I don't care. I'm sorry, y'all. The host is like, I
And
don't
then
care.
if
I
you
don't care if you don't like me. I don't care what you say about me. Okay.
And then
Then
if you grow up in a system where
yes.
you have to care about these things for so many years, it takes
Right.
a long time to break a habit. So
That's true.
it might not be until you're 30, 40 years old that you find out, oh, this is not me.
Right.
I want to break that. And so you're
Right.
still going to be learning even
That's
when
true.
you find out who you
That's
are
true.
or who you want to be.
That's true. And I think I was in my 30s or 40s. And the thing about it now, I'm still dealing with, like I say, it's not peer pressure to me because I don't care. It's peer pressure when you kind of sad. You go home sad because they don't like you. They're talking about you, you know. So make us understand how ladies can remain mentally strong. Liking yourself. That's how I get mentally strong.
I'm
And
a
don't worry about what nobody say about me or what they. I mean, I don't care what a person thinks. I think that's when you don't care about what a person thinks. That's how you get mentally strong. And then
Yeah.
also you have to encourage yourself.
Yeah, because it's because you have to. I feel like to stay mentally strong, you have to have a certain kind of mindset.
Yes, you
You can't,
do.
because you can't deal with something any kind of way in any kind of mindset. You have to be strong and brave and bold in with everything that you do. So like if somebody talk about you and you know you don't care, you just brush it off. Like why should I care? You know. So that I feel like you have to. It's a certain mindset that you have to stay mentally strong.
And it's not what they say, it's what you answer to.
Right.
I had to learn that one. You call me some, oh, you want, well, no, really? I don't answer to that.
Right.
That's I mean, maybe that's what you are. And you trying to say that's about me, but like you say, you have to be bold and you have to encourage yourself. Myself, I look in the mirror and talk to myself. Then, you know, people might walk in and say, what's wrong with her? Sound like some mental issues here. No, you don't mental issues. I am
Mentally
encouraging
strong.
myself. Huh?
Mentally
I say,
strong.
good morning, gorgeous. That's how I say it.
Yes, I agree on that. I feel like at the end, you have to remember that at the end of the
Yes,
day, somebody on this side gonna think they're gonna not find you attractive. And then the other side, they're gonna think you the prettiest thing walking on this earth.
right.
So it doesn't matter what other people think. It boils
Mhm.
down to what you think at
That
the
is
end of the
right.
day.
That
It's
is
really
true.
what matters to us. And then again, like you said, if they give you a compliment, it they're really going based off of your emotion or how you react on it. So if they call you a certain thing, like, oh, your such and such is too big or too small, or you should be shorter, you should be taller. It doesn't matter. They're looking for a reaction. It
Mhm.
depends, or it really just, yeah, it depends on you to
Mhm.
react the way you should react or the way you choose to react. So it's up to you to positively react to that thing or take it
Mhm.
off and run with it in a negative way.
That's true. Okay, we have some say I understand what can break a female and how can she get herself back up. So
Mm.
what can break you? Tell me one thing can break you, and then how are you gonna get yourself back up for being broken?
Hmm.
Because we have a lot of broken women today. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going in the same order, or do
No,
you?
no. And
Okay.
who is one story?
I know Kladja
um.
want to go first.
No, because I'm trying to see.
So
So
what is one thing that can break
I
you?
don't want to seem biased. If I answer that,
I feel like
I would seem so. I don't know if I can answer that one.
I
So
think
is there anything that has happened to your life that broke you? Okay, come on, Kalasia.
Hmm.
And what I love most is the fact that I've gone through these things, so that, like my Kayla said, I could be that example for them. But I really feel like you break yourself. Even speaking biblically, God already uh even if we weren't to talk about the biblical things, we all can agree that this earth is founded upon what's good and what's bad. Everybody automatically grows up knowing, okay, don't touch the fire because you're gonna get
Don't
burned.
get burnt. Yes.
Right, but the fire also can help you cook, like a good and a bad.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like when I was in a relationship, when I was in a relationship, well, there were two. I only really consider one serious. But when I was in a relationship, I tried to do more of the putting into the relationship, um, try to be the problem solver, and just trying to pour so much into the relationship that literally when I got out of the relationship, and I didn't want to, but that person moved,
Mhm.
and once they were out of my life, I literally did not know what to do with my life. I invested so much into them that
Mhm.
I absolutely did not know what to do with my life. I didn't know what path I wanted to take or anything. And then so I invest in my relationship with God because of course I grew up in church. I kept trying to do it my own way. Even with that person, I was the one trying to um, persuade them to learn about Christ, let's pray together, let's read together, and it just didn't feel right because it's like, why am I leading when I
Right.
truly believe that the man is supposed to lead the relationship under,
That's true.
of course, Christ. Um and so it really broke me because I invested so much, and to know, I really believe the Holy Spirit, I actually prayed for sign after sign to leave. And I was like, surely that's not it. I have problems too. But God really gave me a wake-up call, and that hurt drew me closer to God. So to answer that question, we really break ourselves. Even when God gives us promises, we have to rely on those promises. With free will, we have to say, I want to be more than a conqueror. I want to be who God has called me to be. Giving yourself the affirmation He give us, and
Yes.
just drawing closer to Him is what helped me build my character and begin to embrace myself.
All right. Okay. I know you anxious to talk. Come on.
for me, mm-mm.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, you talking about breaking. So um when you're okay, I was listening to you. So when you're in a relationship and you giving your all, like you said, right? Sometimes when we giving our all, we lose ourselves. In the relationship, well, you're supposed to do 100. I mean, I'm just talking about really in marriages, really. When you're in the dating process, you gathering data, you're trying to learn that person. and you try to learn what you like, what you don't like, what you are taking, what you can't take. But a lot of times we will accept a relationship knowing good and well we don't. I can't stand that. He smokes cigarettes. And because we so desperate, like, well, you know what? Any man is, any man is a good man or whatever. I don't know what the saying is, but we don't need to accept things. Sometimes we know that we don't like in relationships. It's okay to be single. It's okay to wait. And I tell girls, even myself, wait. When that person's supposed to come along, like you say, even about the guy, a guy is supposed to lead you, not you lead him. But it's a lot of women leading men now.
Right.
2023, seriously. What you know, you might ask them what you want to eat. What you want to eat? You going back and forth. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, can't you even lead me to the restaurant? I mean, make a decision sometimes. That's kind of simple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Simple thing, but he can't even do that. Lord. So yeah, I truly understand. But like I say, yeah. Okay, what's wrong with that? Bah. Oh, this is the CEO, Pastor Lamar Thomas of this show, and he gonna say stuff like that, y'all. But anyway. So anyway, yeah, Pastor Lamar Thomas, yeah, he should be able to say, let's go here. I mean, I'm not saying I can't suggest a restaurant. I'm just saying it's a little simple thing. Sometimes men can't even lead. It's kind of like you just want to try. Say, okay, maybe he gonna try this here. Maybe he can do this here. Give him something little to do, see if he can do that. You don't want to give him nothing big because he might can't handle that.
Right.
So picking and choosing boyfriends and husbands and all of that, yes, you want somebody who's gonna lead you. You know what I mean? It's not that you can't tell him nothing and he can't tell you nothing. But at the end of the day, you want somebody who is strong, especially in the word of God. That's first. Like you sitting there teaching him like you the Sunday school teacher. Nah. No.
Somebody else.
Somebody else.
Like, come on, husband. We finna have Sunday school. Lord. but anyway, if you just now joining us, we are talking about what's the dream of a young lady? What is the dream of a young lady? Okay. I'm gonna let y'all answer that. What is the dream of a young lady? What is your dream?
My dream is to live on some 32 acres of land. No, just like I'm like my dream is to have a good career and actually know what my career will be and like stick with that. And then honestly, no, I'm gonna speak for all of us. The usual dream of a young lady is to have that God-fearing man.
Yeah, okay.
Is to, be financially stable and to, build something for herself with the help of another person or that significant other. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, Marlon, that's your uncle. He said acres and a mule. We don't want no mule. Give me the acres. It was so funny. Okay, Marlon. Golly. Okay, so you say you were speaking for everyone, or you want them to talk about
no, they can definitely speak.
Huh?
Wait, so
definitely speak.
Oh, are we saying like what's our dream like right now?
In the future, 5 years from now, what do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I see myself on TV acting somewhere on Netflix. That's where I see myself.
Hey, all things are possible,
and I believe it.
Okay, well you can have it. Okay, Kladja.
Um,
What's your dream, bride to be?
My dream is to travel singing. I don't want to be famous or anything. I really want when someone's giving my introduction on the stage, to bring me up. I don't even want to be called minister, prophetess. The titles. I don't. Kladja Anderson, because I really want God to just take the light. I want to be able to leave an influence. I want to be able to testify of who God has been in my life. Like I said, there's been so much of breaking points in my life that He is the only one who's helped me. And I just want to share through my art what He has done. It doesn't even have to be me like this speaking, but singing. just
Right.
allowing the song to tell it all, the passion to tell it all. So,
Right. Well, what is a God fearing man to you, Kalasia?
ooh.
What I mean, when you say God fearing, what is a God fearing man? What is the definition that
Well,
you use?
I'll describe my fiance. So, and this also goes back into the peer pressure. Before he came along, when I was getting closer to God after
Mhm.
that other relationship, there were because I was going to say a lot. I don't want that to seem like,
Right.
but there were a
I
lot
got
of
you.
men who would come into my DMs. Oh, sister in Christ, I just want to get to know you better and this and this and that. I was like, oh, okay, God bless you, brother. Like I kept
Yeah, right.
putting
Yeah,
the
right.
brothers on.
Yeah.
But when Kendrick came along, he didn't do any of that. He came as my friend. We literally will
Mhm.
only talk about God, and he didn't even try to come off at me. And me just seeing who he was, me knowing that he put God first, he
Right.
preaches God all the time. Like, it's no joke. That's what you're gonna get. You see a dog trying to fight another dog, you're gonna get a sermon out of that. But just knowing that he's passionate for God, that he let me know it's not about me getting you. If God does it, it'll be done. But just know that where I'm going, God is. I want to be where
Right.
God is. And,
Right.
just reading his word every day, wanting to lead, wanting to reach out to people, letting them know about Christ, that is a God fearing man, knowing that he can build with you, he can pour into you, forgiving you for not only your past, but the mistakes you make. Just
Yeah.
being able to forgive you and continuously grow to show you that love that God tells us to show others. So,
Right. And he can build you up too,
exactly.
encouraging you.
Exactly.
Because like you say, those guys in the DM, they was wolves, like Marlon said. Thank you, Marlon. Because they, you know what? Because a lot of time I'm on Facebook, a lot of time they'll read my page. I had a guy tell me the other day, I've been studying you 6 months. Really? And what did you study? What did you find out? What did you learn about me?
Right.
A lot of times when they this guy said he been studying me 6 months, that was scary. Like what?
I would have been
So
scared.
you have to be careful there because, like I say, he saw your pictures and like, oh Lord, I might need to take all my pictures down off this Facebook page. So, like you say, the Marlon, you're right. There are some wolves out there in sheep clothing. They come in and they talk about God because they see your Facebook page and they know what you're about.
Right.
They know you're not showing your body. They know you're not cursing. You know the songs that you put on there, the things that you're saying. They know that. Like I say, this guy just come out 2 days ago. I've been studying you 6 months. Like Lord, what is going on? And like I say, I don't even care for Facebook. I got on Facebook accidentally from years ago, but I stayed on it because my daughter asked me to stay on it. I don't care about Facebook, but anyway, it's been some good and it's been some negative about it, But I'm saying I try to keep it positive, you know. But anyway, if you're tuning in tonight, we're talking about pretty peer pressure. I got three beautiful ladies on here. They are beautiful. Okay, Lamarlin, block him. I did. I do have a block ministry, Marlon. I do have a block ministry for real. I would block you in a minute. So
I
okay. Some people
actually
say cut out, but you can call it whatever you want. Cut out, block. Okay.
And that's the best thing to do. I actually had someone when God showed me that Kendrick was my husband, soon to be, through a vision. I actually had someone who I thought was my friend come and say, "Oh, God said that's not the person for you.
Right.
Y'all are in error." And but that's the same person that also said God wouldn't give you somebody you're attracted to. I said, "Why would I want to
What for
wake up?"
real?
Run away from this person. Why would I want to not wake up to this person and turn my head the other way? Like that's a lie. Maybe you didn't get who you was a.
That's all that is. You know what? And that is so true because my daughter told me one time, this guy liked me. She said, Mama, really? She said, you gonna wake up and throw up the next morning. I said, girl, why you say that? She said, look at his face. I said, come on now. You
Exactly. He
know,
will give you the desires of your heart.
well,
That's the thing with
amen. I like that. Yes. Okay. So we have let me see, 8:53. Is someone listening out there? What? Okay, you ladies are truly lights. Do you feel a responsibility to help other young ladies? That's what your granddaddy said, Papa.
Yes,
Yes.
I definitely do. I feel like everything I do matters.
Yeah.
Every single thing I do matters. Because even with your siblings, like the way you respond to your other sibling,
Mm-hmm.
they could be watching and seeing how you're doing that. And then they'll go back and do it to the other person because you did it and they'll think it's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything you do matters.
And people are watching you.
Hmm.
They're listening to what come out of your mouth. And sometimes women, they got some bad mouths. Ooh, they say some things. I said, oh my God.
Hmm.
And I'm talking about church people. I ain't talking about people in the world. And people in the world, I expect for them to cuss. But you in the church, come on now. Well, the church is in you, rather. So
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, but you supposed to be helpers to other ladies because this generation that's coming up, it's kind of lost. I
Yes.
don't know if y'all looked around and see what's going on. It's some girls they lost. These girls want to be boys now. They sagging like the boys.
Seriously.
Yes.
And
It's like everything
these
just
girls are hitting
switched.
on you girls, but you pretty girls. They want them a pretty girl too.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So y'all, oh wow, it's worse now.
It
Mhm.
is.
Y'all have to deal with a lot.
Yes.
Hmm.
And like I said, pretty peer pressure. I mean, I want to say that okay, peer pressure come from the girls and the boys. And what about the gay girls?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
quite sure they out there, and I'm quite sure they at your school. They everywhere.
It all has to do with everybody wanting love. I don't even know if you've noticed, but even the LGBT community, well, there's the whole alphabet now, but when you think about them, they always try to push love, but the thing is, the only love that you can receive is through Jesus Christ, through
Right.
God. You
That's true.
know, even with what I've experienced through life, the things that I've encountered, the people I've met, God showed me through all of it, even my own personal actions. Everyone requires love. Love
That's
is
right.
necessary,
It
but
is.
you have to have the purest, holiest love to know that you can be forgiven, that God will be your father if you don't have one. He will supply all your needs. He answers questions when it might not be the answer you want. So it all
That's
has to do
true.
with wanting to be loved and needing love.
And that's true. And you know what? A lot of times, love has been misdemonstrated. You know what I'm saying? The love that is really love, of God's love, is not the love that we have experienced in our lives. And then that's why sometimes we look for love in the wrong places because what we thought was love really wasn't love at all.
Right.
And I tell people love don't hurt. What do you think about that when a person say love doesn't hurt? Is that true or false?
Or
I feel like it is. I feel like it's love doesn't hurt. I feel
Love
like
doesn't hurt. Is
it's
that true
true
or
in a
false?
way. I feel like it's true in a way. Because
Who
if
said
you're
who
looking
said
at
it's
it,
true?
oh, I said it's true.
Okay, you say it's true. Why did you say that love doesn't hurt is true?
Because if you, like Kaleja said, if you're if you know what the purest love is, then you'll know how to love. And if
Right.
you're receiving that same love, then it won't hurt. It shouldn't hurt at all.
Right.
But if that person is going based off what they've gotten in the past, and if it wasn't that true love, then
Right.
it's not love, it's counterfeit. So that's not what you're really receiving. You're not receiving the hard copy, like my brother-in-law he said, hot off the press. You're not receiving that.
Right.
You're not. So I think it's true.
Okay, Kalasia, did you say true or false?
I would say both. Even just looking at it biblically, um, you know how the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Even if you look at it in that aspect, God is going to chasten his children. We need that discipline, and that's love. If he says, hey, don't go in this direction because you might jump off a cliff. If we
That's
jump
right.
off that cliff, oh, we definitely getting hurt.
That's
But we
right.
right.
also, you
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's
Yes.
just like, it might not be what we think is necessary, but
Mhm.
it's what we need. And then it's also good because the offering of what comes when you are obedient, when you do have a life that you can always have peace and joy in. So I think it's both.
Right. Okay, we have like 2 minutes left in the show. I want each one of you to just real short, just tell the audience one thing about how to handle peer pressure. Real short. We're running out of time.
Kayla.
No, I don't want to go first.
You go first. Go.
How to handle peer pressure?
Yeah, just give them, it could be 1 or 2 words.
Follow Christ.
All right, yay. Okay, Nick.
Be strong.
Be strong, follow Christ. Okay.
I have 3. Be
Okay, go ahead.
bold, be strong, and be brave.
And I have one say, love yourself.
Mm.
If you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
Right.
But ladies, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It has been awesome. You are beautiful. You are pretty peer pressure. I deal with it. I understand. So I thank you for joining us tonight. And I want everyone to have a great night. If you just now joined us, remember to like and share. And we love you. Remember, peer pressure has no age on it. We all experience some type of pressure, which is called influence. Okay. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And you guys have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.